Know what would go great right here? Your ad, your business, your services. Or maybe just your rant about how roundabouts are crop circles by redneck aliens. Whatever you need to say, we'll help you say it. Contact noonandtimewithharold@gmail.com for more information.
It's a new day, Noonan. Yes, it is. And I am Harold. Who dat? Who Harold? Who Harold be? I am the man who makes the jokes. I am here to provide humor to Coweta County. Coweta County's got a lot, you know? Got plenty of serious discussions and political discussions and news between the Noonan Times Herald and the what do they call it? The Noonan Coweta Scanner Traffic. Noonan Coweta Scanner Traffic. That's exactly what they call them. Man, I thought I was just guessing, making stuff up. I knew it was some like jumble of words. Like, wasn't it like traffic, weather, Noonan Coweta? Maybe it's always been Noonan Coweta Scanner Traffic, and I'm just a fool, a beautiful, beautiful fool. But who am I? I am Harold. That is my name. That is my birth-given name from birth. Promise. I promise that is my name. Now, do I have other names? Of course I do. Doesn't everybody? The year is 2025. It is all about names. And my name is Harold. And I exist to be silly. I exist to make people laugh. I don't do a lot of anything else in life. Do I take care of my family? Of course I take care of my amazing daughter. Do I hang out with Hanley, my girlfriend? Of course I hang out with Hanley, my girlfriend. But do they love me when I'm not being funny? Now see, that's where we get confused. Everyone exists to do one thing and one thing only. It's just about figuring out what your thing is. My thing is being silly. Your thing is being ugly. Oh, got him right in the jawline, right where that facial hair goes. Anyways, why do I exist? I exist because there was a missing piece to the Noonan puzzle back during COVID time, where things were just so political and stressful, and we needed a joke. And so I created Noonan Time with Harold, which is a play on Noonan Times Herald, and I just make jokes, and I poke fun at stuff, mainly Peachtree City and Turin, roundabouts, apartment complexes, things like that of that nature. I have a website, noonantimewithharold.com, and I have a social media, Noonan Time with Harold, on Facebook and Instagram. And of course, you're right here at Noonan Podcasts with Harold. So what are we talking about today? We're talking about education and learning, fun with math. You see, I have never been to public school. Yes, I've been inside public schools before. My daughter goes to all the public schools. My stepchildren, when I had them, went to public school. When I had them, as if I got a divorce, so they're not my stepchildren anymore, which is a weird thing. I don't know if you've been divorced and had stepchildren. It's weird to just be like, technically they're not your, like they were my stepchildren for, 10, 11 years. And then it's just not it anymore. And that's weird. That's a weird thing. But I guess it's not that weird because also you had a wife or you have a spouse and then they stop being your spouse once. Like, it's not like the mother-in-law is still my mother-in-law, any of that. So you know what? It's really not that weird. But it feels weird. I've never gotten used to that part of the whole shebang. Oh, baby, when she moves. I go crazy. Because she looks like a flower, but she stings like a bee, like every girl in history. But I was homeschooled. I was homeschooled in Sonoy. I call it something different every week. And today it's Sonoy. Sometimes I say Sonoya, sometimes I say Sonoya, sometimes I say sun, sometimes I say, I can't think of any other dumb ways to call it, so we'll just stop there at those few. That joke tickled me, calling it son. That was a good one. Good job, Harold. That was funny. But that's where I grew up. I grew up in Sonoy, right by East Side Elementary School. We grew up in, I don't know if it was Arbor Walk or Prestigious Place. It had two names, our little subdivision. And in fact, I remember one time there were people going door to door. They were like, hey, we want to replace the beams outside and get some really nice things to say, welcome to Prestigious Place. And so like my family gave them money and stuff. And then it just never happened. We never got those big beams. Am I saying, is that the right thing? It's not like beams because it's not holding anything up. Whatever you call like the big stone entrance. I don't know what it's called when you're driving into a neighborhood and there's the big stones that say the name of it. Anyways, now you know where I grew up, so you can look up and find me. You can find old me and go back there and beat him up when he was a kid. But that's where I grew up. So I was always really close to public schools, and all my friends went to public school. Well, not all of my friends. A lot of my friends went to public. I'm making it sound like homeschoolers have a lot of friends, and that is just not true. And if you're listening to this and you're a homeschool parent, and you're like, wait a minute, Harold, you beautiful fool, my kids have so many friends and they're homeschooled. No. They do not have so many friends. They have so many animals in the house, and you're getting those confused. Trust me, I was confused when I was a kid, and we had like 12 cats. You get it confused when you're homeschooled. You don't know the difference between an actual friend and the animals that your parents put inside your house. So I did not have a lot of friends, but I had some of them that went to public school. And public school was so crazy to me. Like, you have to get up, you get on this giant bus. This bus takes you to this place, and then you have to follow all these rules, and you have to walk together, and there's all these rules about what you can wear, and you all eat together. Like, comparing what I knew from movies and TV shows, still to this day, I will ask people, usually my girlfriend, I'll be like, is that really how it works? Or is that just in the movies? Like, she'll be dropping things like parapro and assistant principals. And, like, I didn't even know what blocks were. Like, I didn't know that a teacher would be like, I'm going to teach first block, third block, and fourth block, and I'm going to teach this subject. And that they teach the same thing pretty much, all those blocks. I didn't know that's how that worked. I thought block was like when the students go, which it is when the students go, but I didn't know like teachers would just teach the same thing all day. I thought, seriously, I'm going to sound so stupid, but I thought it was all like elementary school where you have just like one or two teachers and they teach you all day and they teach you all the subjects. So, which I shouldn't have ever thought that, because I knew that you could have teachers that specialize in science, history, language arts. But I thought when you hear like that your teacher is your language arts teacher, that's just like you specifically during that class, they're your language arts teachers. But then you go to then you like go back and now they're teaching science. Point is, I'm dumb. And I say recently, it was in the last couple of years that I really figured out how the teaching and stuff works and semesters work. And I have a lot to learn, because in homeschool land, you wake up usually at the same time of day, but not really. And your mommy teaches you things. And sometimes you get to go to homeschool group and see homeschool friends. But for the most part, it's just mom and siblings. And those are your classmates and stuff. And that's what my life was like. Now, I say that, but my father left when I was in 11th grade, right? So I would have been a junior, which I forget all the time if sophomore, freshman, which one those are, which grade. And I remember junior and senior. That one clicks in my brain. But I forget all the time. What is a junior? No. What is a sophomore? What is a freshman? And I remember it because freshman is the freshest. So they're the freshest in school. And then after they've been there for a while, it softens them up. And then they're a sophomore. So that's how I remember. Which hopefully, as I'm repeating it back, I am correct that the first year in high school is freshman. I'm almost positive it is, but now I'm starting to doubt myself. Uh-oh. Anyways, when I was a junior, my parents got divorced, right? We won't get super into it because I don't know why you'd want to know all about it, but my dad met somebody else. My parents tried to keep the marriage strong, but it ended up not working. And so they got a divorce. And when they did that, my mom decided to stop teaching us, that she didn't want to, she was stressed. So for 11th and 12th grade, I was just given the answer keys of how to put my schoolwork together. My little brother went to public school. He went to East Coweta High School. More on that later. And my other two brothers were already grown up and going to college and doing their own thing. But for me, I got stuck in this one bad spot where I had to just teach myself the last couple of years and also be sad that my dad's going away and also deal with the normal things someone in their junior year. It was too much. I did a bad job. I don't have a good education. And not because I'm not saying it's my mother's fault. I would not say that. But once the responsibility was on me to decide what I wanted to do with my education, I failed miserably and big regrets. I wish if I could go back, one of the only things I would do differently is I would have probably gone to public school and gone to college, have a better setup for my life currently. But I didn't do that. I convinced myself that I was clever enough and creative enough that I could find ways in Coweta County to get by. Now, I say that and I say I regret it, but guess what, guys? Guess what? I'm 37 years old now, and I have gotten by. Yep, I have figured out ways in these last 20 years to get by and scrounge and survive, and I have been creative enough and lovely and smart enough. So you know what? Actually, I don't regret it. No regrets. Hashtag boom, 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 baby. No regrets. Bam, bam, bam. I wonder how many people are actually homeschooled these days. Can I look that up? How many families homeschool in, well, let's do Georgia specifically. The Georgia Department of Education reports about 59,000 homeschoolers are in the state in 2015, and by 2022, that number jumped to 91,000. Whoa, this was posted in 2023. So if it's just been jumping and jumping and jumping, we could have 100,000. That would be crazy. Yep, it's been jumping since 2015 to now. It has jumped every single year. So I'm sure the COVID thing probably normalized it a bit. So there's probably a good bit of homeschoolers in the area. But I don't know. It used to be that there were all these homeschool groups and all this, I say it was obvious that there were a lot of homeschoolers. It probably wasn't super obvious. I just probably was a homeschooler, so I was around a lot of homeschoolers. It would be kind of weird for me as a grown man right now, a 37-year-old, to just know what kids are homeschooled and what aren't. So probably pretty normal. But what I really liked about being homeschooled, we'll say some good things about it, is I liked the homeschool groups. You did get to meet up with friends, every week or so and go on field trips and stuff. There was still a community of things. Like my mother was very involved with the homeschool group. I was very involved. We had a drama program. That's where I started my acting career. And that's what led us to this. I wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't for the fact that my homeschool group had a drama program. So that's pretty cool. So it's neat things like that. And I really liked being around my brothers all the time. Sure, we fought a lot, but being I got to be in school with my brothers, technically. Cool. I like that. And I also like getting to watch TV in the middle of the day. That was pretty cool. And it's easy to I still have a lot of the schoolwork I did. It's still kept because it's easier to keep it because it's always in your house rather than at school and stuff. So I have test scores and little cartoons I made. Stuff like that is all still, not all of it, but most of it, maybe not most of it because that's a lot of years, but a good chunk of it is I know where it is, and that's cool. I like that. I like that the friends you do have in your homeschool group are really, really close friends. You're not sharing a school of thousands. Now, of course, some of the other things that I don't like about it is I look back on some of the stuff I learned and it felt like it was a little bit different than what I learn now. Like the focus on the Bible was very, very heavy. And I also don't think I'm as smart as public school kids, which maybe it's not true. Maybe I am really smart. But when I meet other people my age, I go, wow, you're like an advanced human and I am a beta. I am a beta bot. So there is that. Again, I am not saying it is bad to homeschool. I'm not saying it is good to homeschool. I am saying this is my experience homeschooling. And if I could go back, I would have at least done public schooling those last 2 years, which the transition probably would have been really tough to go from being homeschooled your whole life to junior, senior, being public schooled. But my brother did transition. He did his freshman year, sophomore, junior, senior, and did a great job. I mean, he made so many friends and got his degree. And, well, he's better than me, which is, he knows it, and I know it. My little brother is one of my favorite people in the whole world. He transitioned really, really well. And I had one of my best friends in the homeschool group. He also finished up in public school, and he transitioned really well. All the people I know personally who transitioned from homeschooling to public schooling, they did a great job. All of this was at East Coweta. So maybe it's a really hard transition, but East Coweta is just really good for the transition. East Coweta is where my former stepkids went to school. And again, good education, good people, never had to fight with any of them. And I joke, you know, I probably am making it sound, I say probably because sometimes I say things, right? And I'm not sure if I mean them or not, which is probably a terrible trait. But sometimes I'm like, hey, I don't know what blocks are in school. And there's probably a part in my brain, and I guarantee in my brain, if I sit down and I think about it, I would have figured it out years and years ago. I'm sure if I would have thought about high school teachers, I would have figured it out. And I'm sure parts of me knew it. But it's funnier if I'm dumb, obviously. Anyways, let's get back on topic. Homeschooling, for me, quite the experience. I have so many stories about being homeschooling, some stories that I have never told before of things that happened in my youth homeschool group. I was about to say youth group, but that's different. I have lots of stories about youth group too. You know, we should do a childhood episode where we talk about trauma from Sonoy, and I just talk about things that happened to me while I lived there. That would be interesting, yeah? You guys could be like, oh, I remember that. You guys remember before Sonoy became like fancy with The Walking Dead and everything, well, we had like the Holbrooks furniture. Is it Holbergs or Holbrooks? I think it's Holbrooks. Holbrooks furniture? Nope, it's Holbergs. Holbergs Fine Furniture. What do I know? I'm a fool. But we had that barber shop. We had a tiny little library. We had the place with the wagon wheel. And we had a VHS place where you could rent movies. This was before, this was even before the Sonoy Coffee Company came about. And Crooks was still around, but Crooks wasn't in downtown Sonoy. Crooks was, Crooks Marketplace is off further towards the bank and whatnot. What's not? I'm British. It is a day where I am British. I got the hiccups too. I just got some Coke Zero during that last break. And Coke Zero is the best drink in the world, but it's giving me the hiccups, y'all. I'm hicking and gicking over here. But there was that VHS store, and it used to be 3 movies for 3 days for $3. And there were 4 of us, as in me and my 3 brothers. There were 4 children. So we would go there, and 2 of us would have to pick a movie together, and then the other 2 could pick movies that they wanted. And I guess, that's fair. My parents did it. I don't know how I would have done it. Maybe the 2 older brothers and the 2 younger brothers pick a movie together, then the parents pick a movie. That's probably how I would have done it. How would you have done it if you were them? If you were my parents? Oh, you guys want to be my parents? That'd be awesome. I have parents, and I love them, but an extra set of parents? That sounds dope. That's like, how many Christmases will I get? Because my father doesn't believe in Christmas. See, my father is and I'm going to explain it incorrectly, but he's a religion now. You know what? I'm not even going to get into it. I'm going to ask him to explain it to me better, and then I will get on the podcast and I will explain what my father's religion is, because it's confusing, but it's very interesting. It's fascinating. It's not one that I'd ever heard of until he converted. So we'll get into that in a later episode. I'm all over the place right now. Sorry about that. My brain's a little... We're going to end our podcast on a very serious discussion, and that is about what's going on with our principals in Coweta County. I am going to be gentle here, as in I don't want to make jokes about it, and I don't want to make claims. I'm just going to read what news sites are posting and maybe some of the comments from the community and let you guys sort of go from there, because we've had 2 arrests just this year of Coweta County principals, and one of them, I just got a new Facebook message. Cool. Facebook messages, cool. Love them. And one of them are very serious charges, and we originally were posting jokes about it and like using his mugshot as an area to make jokes and poke fun. And while I understand why I did that, I was trying to make light of a serious situation, which is what Harold has always done. It's a pretty serious situation, and there's a lot unknown, so it's probably best of me to let it sit for a while. I had people that I really trust and I listen to. My inner circle was like, hey, I know you, and I know you're not meaning it to be an issue, but other people might think it's a little too far. So I cleared out jokes about the situation. For now, as we let things simmer, I will not poke fun at any serious arrest regarding principals of Coweta County. Other arrests, actually, I don't really poke fun at arrests. When people get arrested, you're not going to see me throw up mugshots and make jokes about it. I sort of just chill. Because it's partially because I'm ill-informed when it comes to the situations, and otherwise because they're serious situations a lot of times. So, I'm not just trouble. I have a heart. Anyways, here we go. This was from January 28th, 2025. This one actually went under my radar. I totally didn't know this happened until I was researching the other arrest, and I came across this. Coweta County elementary school principal arrested, charged with shoplifting. The Coweta County Sheriff's Office said an elementary school principal was caught shoplifting at a Noonan department store. An arrest report for the incident says the woman, then her name is listed. I don't even want to say her name, but I guess I will. Letitia Jordan Crosby of Noonan tried to take jewelry, clothing, and decorations totaling a value of about $1,010 from the Kohl's department store. A spokesperson for Coweta County Schools said Tuesday that Crosby was placed on administrative leave from her position as principal of Thomas Crossroads Elementary when they were informed of her arrest. My ex-stepkids went to Thomas Crossroads Elementary, so I'm not sure if this principal was at the same time or not. Our school system's focus at this time is on supporting the students and staff at Thomas Crossroads Elementary School, the spokesperson said in the statement. The theft by shoplifting charge was reported by a member of Kohl's loss prevention staff. According to the report, it occurred January 4th, according to a statement from the staff. Details from the report say that she was caught on surveillance footage walking around the store with a cart full of different items like she was shopping. They said she walked around the store with the buggy multiple times. You know that's down south because they use the word buggy. Until she finally just walked out the front door with the buggy without paying. God, saying the word buggy is so silly to me. So that happened. And I don't know if there's been an update to that story. Again, it was just a little bit over a month ago, so I wouldn't expect that there's a big update to it. But that was the arrest that happened that I didn't even know happened. I just missed it. Sometimes I'm really busy, like I talk about on here, like I'm involved with my family and stuff, which is what I should be doing. And I just don't catch the most recent giant news story like this. So, And then, of course, this one is all over the world right now, and everyone's talking about it. The East Coweta High School principal was arrested. On Monday, February 24th, 2025, Coweta County received a 911 call in reference to a dispute. The Coweta County Sheriff's Office patrol deputies responded to the scene and began investigating the events leading to the 911 call. The investigation led to the arrest of Stephen Allen, who was charged with battery, FVA, and criminal trespass which damage to property before being transported to Coweta County Jail. This is from the Noonan-Coweta scanner traffic page. That's what I'm reading off of right now. So they are almost... I think they're like always accurate, right? They seem like they get the story down. I clarified with the Coweta County, this is from him, he clarified that Mr. Allen wasn't denied bond. The battery FVA charge, like many other charges, don't allow for a preset bond amount to be imposed, requiring the suspect to make the first appearance with the judge, where bond will then either be denied or an amount set at the discretion of the judge. So that is what comes from that article. Then we have the Noonan Times-Herald article, which is a little bit more involved. This is, again, February 25th. East Coweta High School principal Stephen Allen was arrested Monday following a domestic dispute and has been placed on administrative leave pending an investigation. Coweta County E911 received a call on February 24th regarding a dispute at a residence. Deputies with the Coweta County Sheriff's Office responded and began investigating the incident. Their findings led to the arrest of Allen, 57, who was charged with simple battery, family violence, and criminal trespass with property damage. No further details about the incident have been released. Dean Jackson, Public Information Officer for the Coweta County School System, said the district's priority is ensuring students and staff are supported in light of the situation. He noted the Superintendent Evan Horton was on campus Monday along with additional support staff. Now, while I say I haven't, I deleted some of my main jokes, I have made a few sillies on these posts, which maybe, looking back on it, I think I should delete those too. I had forgotten that I did those comments because I was so caught up in the moment. Let's delete some of those. If you saw them, you can laugh at them. But again, they're very, very silly. It's stuff like cafeteria food to cafeteria food, just poking fun at the fact that there's the food in jail and then there's food in school that is cafeteria food. So, pretty tame. Pretty tame. But still, situation is serious, and I want to be a better representation because I just want to be a better person, honestly. I just want to be a better person than I have been in the past. And then the final story that I'm going to read comes from the East Coweta students rally in support of principal facing charges. This is a Noonan Times-Herald article. And I do like the fact that in the picture of all the students standing with shirts that say Free Chief, the way the photo is taken, it kind of cuts off. And so it looks like they all say Free Chef. Like you can't see the eyes. So it looks like they're just wearing a shirt with a guy's face on it. It says Free Chef, Free Chef, Free Chef, Free Chef. That's funny to me, which I think that's okay that's funny. That's silly. But hundreds of East Coweta High School students staged a rally Wednesday afternoon in support of Principal Stephen Allen, who was arrested earlier this week on family violence charge. Chanting "Drop the charges" and "Free Chief," more than 750 students reportedly gathered on the school field at 12:30 p.m. before returning to class. I was absolutely mind-blown by his arrest, said a student. When talking to Stephen Allen, you would never assume anything negative of him. A senior said the walkout was about more than just showing support. The reputation of not only our school but our principal began to heavily diminish, he said. This rally showed everyone that we stand behind our principal and we value our school. Allen, who was arrested Saturday on simple battery, family violence, and criminal trespass charges, remains off campus as the district reviews the situation. He supports us. Now it's our place as students to do the same. I did not mention any of the names of any of the students because I don't feel like that is super appropriate. And the comment sections are all over the place, man. There's comments about how these charges are really serious and these students And there's comments about how these students are standing up for something they believe in and how impressive that is. So, I mean, if you really want to boil some blood for whichever side you're on, head on over to the Noonan Times-Herald, which is the exciting place to be. You know, I poke fun at them a lot, and I always will because it's fun that way. It's just a more entertaining life if we poke fun at the Noonan Times-Herald. But they do good work. I've met the main, I was going to say editor. There you go. I was going to say writer. That doesn't sound right. That's a homeschool brain, man. I don't know what... We had a homeschool paper, though, and I got to put some comics in it before. So, you know, I'm sorry. Brain all over the place. Anyways, I hope you are having a lovely day. I hope that nothing bad is happening in your life. I hope something amazing is happening in your life. How do you feel about homeschooling? You know, my child has asked me many, many times, Dad, why can't I be homeschooled if you were homeschooled? And I tell her, that's exactly why you don't get to be homeschooled. My adorable, adorable child that I love so much. We'll talk to you later, next time. And if you want to be a guest, make sure you contact noonantime@herald.com. Find me on Facebook at Harold Lees. I should be the only Harold Lees. Oh, I'm probably not. Let's look. Hit or miss. Oh no, there's a bunch of Harold Leeses. Well, I'm the only Harold Lees that lives in Noonan, Georgia. All the rest of them, they do not. So you're only going to find one Harold Lees, and that's me. So come find me. Let's do it. Let's talk. Let's chat. Let's have some fun. Let's talk about the birds and the bees and the stingrays, which you already know what the stingray is, ladies.